The marketing department asked me to be as explicit as possible when explaining it.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I don't feel great when I am fed messages and when I was fed messages as a young girl.
Ryan Reynolds didn't just become a movie star. He built a billion-dollar business empire. Aviation Gin sold for up to $610 million. Mint Mobile sold for $1.35 billion. He also owns Maximum Effort, a Welsh soccer club, and a major stake in ad tech company MNTN.
If you learn about mountain performance TV, I've asked real marketers and business owners.
The secret behind all of it? Ryan Reynolds himself. Funny, charming, relatable, trustworthy. He didn't just promote brands, he owned pieces of them and used his personality to make them explode. That strategy turned him into one of Hollywood's smartest entrepreneurs, but it came with one huge weakness. Everything depended on public trust. If Ryan's image took a hit, every business tied to his name could feel it.
It just seemed like an impossible dream, and what we're lucky to do is be storytellers.
That's why the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni legal battle drew so much attention. When Ryan's name appeared in court filings and private messages became public, the story quickly grew beyond celebrity gossip. It raised a much bigger question. What happens when a billion-dollar brand is built on likability? Because Ryan's biggest asset wasn't a product, it wasn't a patent, it wasn't real estate, it was his reputation.
On behalf of Aviation American Gin, its parent company Diageo, we'd like to wholesale apologize for our previous commercial.
Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile followed the same winning formula. Ryan invested in the company, became the face of the marketing, and helped drive the value sky high. That formula created a business ecosystem worth more than $2 billion. But when the brand is the person,
You'd be wondering why I brought you here. At some point, we must all join forces to become a team.
any controversy can put the entire empire under pressure.
Ryan Reynolds' team publicly responded to the lawsuit, and that was unusual. His brand had always been built on staying funny, calm, and above the drama. But in January 2026, private text messages became public.
That's why today, I'm introducing Aviation American Gin Homeschool Edition.
They didn't accuse him of a crime, but they added personal details to a very public story. And for a business empire built on trust, that matters. At the same time, Justin Baldoni filed a $400 million countersuit against Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and others. Whether or not that figure reflects the final outcome,
Is transforming TV advertising by focusing on performance. And we've got an amazing team of people to do it, like Seymour Rowan.
the headlines were massive. And in business, headlines can affect deals fast. The biggest costs are often not legal fees. They're delayed projects, cautious partners, and lost opportunities. Look at Blake Lively's hair care brand, Blake Brown Beauty. Early projections reportedly approached $100 million in first-year sales. By the end of 2025, outside estimates were far lower, around $15 million. That gap showed how quickly momentum can change when public perception shifts. Ryan's earlier wins, Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile, were already sold, but MNTN's IPO had not happened. Maximum Effort still relied on client relationships, and future deals depended on Ryan remaining a trusted name. Then came a major signal. In late 2025, Paramount reportedly canceled 3 Ryan Reynolds projects in development.
Maximize performance by putting more resources behind commercials that work and pull back on the ones that don't.
That suggested some partners were becoming more cautious. And in a separate production, Neil Patrick Harris stepped in for a Deadpool-related voice role. For many fans, Ryan and Deadpool are almost inseparable, so even a temporary replacement got attention. Because in Hollywood, perception can change the business story just as quickly as the headlines do.
Ryan Reynolds didn't just play Deadpool. To many fans, he was Deadpool. The sarcasm, the fourth wall jokes, the non-stop wit, it felt like Ryan was playing himself.
Justin, how you feeling today? You look good. How you feeling?
That's why his temporary replacement in a Deadpool-related production got so much attention. It suggested Disney and Marvel were being cautious, and when major studios take a step back, sponsors and partners pay attention fast. Then the story grew even bigger. In early 2026, Messages involving Taylor Swift became part of the public legal record. The key issue wasn't Swift's role. It was the fact that one of the world's biggest stars was now tied to the headlines. Other high-profile names, including Anna Wintour and Matt Damon, were also mentioned in legal filings. That showed how far the story had spread. At that point, this was no longer just a private dispute. It had become an industry-wide story. And for companies considering a deal with Ryan, one question mattered. Is the upside worth the uncertainty?
Translates across the different businesses that I'm in. It translates into my personal life.
History shows how quickly the answer can change. Before 2009, Tiger Woods earned an estimated $100 million a year from endorsements. After his personal scandal, several major sponsors walked away. Within a year, estimates suggested that figure dropped to around $15 million. Ryan Reynolds' situation is different, and the final outcome remains uncertain. But the business lesson is the same. When your name is the product, your reputation is the foundation. And when that foundation starts to crack, every deal tied to it can feel the impact.
Spilling even one drop of the world's highest rated gin will result in you being duct taped to your seat for the remainder of the...
The pattern is clear. Tiger Woods saw his endorsement income drop by about 85% in under a year. Ye lost his Adidas partnership. Lance Armstrong watched major deals disappear. Different stories, same lesson. When a business is built around one person, reputation can change everything. For Ryan Reynolds, the product is trust. Funny, authentic, in control. The legal dispute did not accuse him of financial wrongdoing or criminal conduct, but it did raise questions about whether the public image matched the private reality. And for a brand built on likability, even that can matter. That's why MNTN was such a big piece of the story. Ryan's ad tech company was preparing for an IPO that could have become one of the biggest financial events of his career, maybe even larger than Aviation Gin or Mint Mobile.
And when I was fed messages as a young girl that it's more important to be edgy and sexy and cool than anything else.
But IPOs need more than strong revenue. They need a clean, stable narrative. Investors examine both the company and the risks tied to major shareholders. If high-profile litigation is ongoing, that can affect timing and valuation. As of early 2026, MNTN's IPO appeared to have slowed, with no confirmed launch date. That doesn't mean the deal is gone. It means uncertainty may have entered the equation. Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile were already cashed in, but MNTN was the next major payday. And for now, it seemed to be waiting. So the real question became, can Ryan Reynolds bounce back? History shows reputational setbacks can be costly, but they aren't always permanent. The outcome depends on three things.
So bubbly, just like I feel every day I wake up after a long, full night's sleep.
How the legal situation unfolds, how business partners respond, and whether the public keeps trusting the Ryan Reynolds brand, because that trust has been worth billions.
So, can Ryan Reynolds' empire survive this? Probably yes, but the bigger question is whether it comes back at full strength. If the legal battle fades and no major new developments emerge, the long-term damage may be manageable. Ryan has already secured huge wins with Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile. Those deals are done, and that money is locked in. But future opportunities are a different story. MTN's IPO appeared to slow. Studios became more cautious, and the premium attached to Ryan's name may not be as high as it once was. That doesn't mean the empire collapses. It means the next chapter could be less valuable. And when you're operating at this level, even a small drop in trust can cost a fortune. That's the real lesson here. Ryan Reynolds didn't just build companies. He built a machine that turned public trust into billions. Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, Maximum Effort, MTN. Different businesses, same engine, the Ryan Reynolds brand. That strategy was brilliant, but it also created one major vulnerability. When your reputation is the product, your reputation is also the risk. Traditional businesses can survive controversy. A factory keeps producing, software keeps running. But celebrity-driven businesses are different. If public confidence changes, every deal tied to that name can be repriced overnight. Ryan Reynolds is not Tiger Woods, and this situation is very different. But the business principle is the same. 3 projects reportedly canceled.
a Deadpool-related voice role reassigned, an IPO delayed, private messages made public, and a brand once seen as untouchable facing new questions. The aviation gin money is safe. The Mint Mobile money is safe. What remains uncertain is the model that created them, because this was never just about gin, wireless service, or advertising technology. It was about trust, and when trust starts to wobble, even a billion-dollar empire can feel the impact.